Imagine stepping back thousands of years to a world without cities as we know them, without technology, and without the comforts of modern life. In that world, stories weren't written down in books or recorded in digital files. They were passed from one generation to another, shaping cultures, beliefs, and destinies. Among those stories, one stands above all others: the Bible. It isn't just a book, it's a collection of writings that span over 1,000 years, written by prophets, kings, fishermen, and scholars. And it tells the sweeping story of humanity's relationship with God. The journey begins with Genesis, the story of the creation of the world. In its opening lines, we see the universe come to life, light piercing through darkness, oceans and skies forming, land rising, and finally, humanity being created in God's image. Adam and Eve walk in harmony with God in the Garden of Eden, until one act of disobedience changes everything. Their fall introduces sin, suffering, and mortality into the human story. And yet, even in this failure, the Bible plants the first seeds of hope, a promise that redemption will one day come. From there, the story unfolds across generations. We meet Noah, chosen to build an ark and survive a flood that wipes out a corrupted world. Then comes Abraham, a man called to leave everything behind and trust in God's promise that his descendants would become a great nation. That promise is carried forward through Isaac and Jacob, later named Israel, whose 12 sons give rise to the tribes of God's chosen people. But the path of faith is never simple. The Israelites find themselves enslaved in Egypt, crying out for deliverance. It's here that Moses emerges, leading them through plagues, miracles, and finally, the great Exodus. The Red Sea parts. A nation of slaves becomes a nation of free people. On Mount Sinai, Moses receives the 10 Commandments, laws meant to guide their lives and set them apart as a people of God. Still, the story of Israel is one of constant struggle. They wander the wilderness, they fall into rebellion, and they often lose sight of the God who rescued them. Judges rise up to lead them, but the cycle of faith and failure continues. Eventually, Israel demands a king. Saul comes first, but it's David, the shepherd boy, who defeats Goliath, who becomes their greatest king. His reign establishes Jerusalem as the heart of the nation, and his psalms echo through history as songs of worship and lament. David's son, Solomon, builds the magnificent temple, a place where heaven and earth seem to meet. Yet wealth, power, and pride bring decline. Prophets appear: Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel. They warn of destruction, call for repentance, and speak of a Messiah who will one day come to restore all things. Israel is conquered, exiled, and scattered, yet the hope of redemption never fades. Then, in a quiet town called Bethlehem, that hope is fulfilled. A child is born to Mary, a child named Jesus. His birth, marked by angels and shepherds, signals the beginning of a new chapter. Jesus grows into a teacher, unlike any other. He preaches love where there is hatred, forgiveness where there is guilt, and faith where there is fear. His miracles, healing the blind, calming storms, raising the dead, reveal divine power. But his message also threatens the religious leaders and the political order of the day. The story takes a dramatic turn in Jerusalem. Jesus is betrayed by one of his own disciples, handed over to the authorities, and sentenced to die on a cross, a punishment reserved for the lowest criminals. To his followers, it seems like the end, but 3 days later, the impossible happens. The tomb is empty. Jesus has risen. The resurrection becomes the cornerstone of Christianity, the victory of life over death, of hope over despair. From that moment, the message of Jesus spreads far beyond the borders of Israel. His disciples, once fearful and scattered, become bold messengers. Peter, Paul, and others travel across the Roman Empire, writing letters, planting churches, and facing persecution. Their writings, full of encouragement, instruction, and faith, form much of the New Testament. The story concludes with revelation, a vision given to John. It is filled with vivid imagery, angels, beasts, battles, and ultimately, a final victory. It speaks of a day when evil will be destroyed, justice will prevail,